Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucia and this is Lulu's Leaves.
I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood cause I'm trying hard to love.
Today I am joined by one of my best friends, Plant Me Ashley.
Hello.
We are going to be doing an awesome collab today. We have been trying to make this work for so long. If you guys came over from her channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Today we are going to be talking about our 6 favorite plants each. We have not discussed the plants that we're going to talk about before making this video, so these are going to be a surprise to me and you, which I'm really excited about. But before we do get into today's video, if you're not already subscribed, definitely go click that button down below, and if you enjoyed today's video, you can also give it a thumbs up. Also, if you aren't already subscribed to Ashley's channel, definitely check it out. I will link it up in the cards and down below so you guys can go subscribe. Also, I do have memberships if you guys are interested. There's definitely some extra content available for you guys over there. Also, I have a Discord group chat if you want to join that community as well. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight on into today's video.
Shall we?
Yes, we shall. All right.
I'm interested to see if we have some of the same plants. I feel like
I
we're
know.
not going to though.
I know. So I will start off this video and I'm going to start it off with a plant that you guys have seen quite a bit on my channel. I think this is a trend. The plants that I like, I just happen to show a little bit more. But I am talking about the Philodendron Ring of Fire. This is a plant that honestly, before this year, I had almost no interest in, and I have no idea why that's the case at this point because I really love it. I think that the variegation is absolutely beautiful, and there's so much pretty speckling on it, and you can also get some really cool sectoral variegation as well. I am also really obsessed with the fact that the variegation comes in different colors, so you can find it in some pink tones and some beigey tones, and yeah, I think that that is why it's called the Ring of Fire. It has so many fiery colors in it, but it is a really amazing plant. It's such an easy grower, and it's growing some amazing roots too, which is super fun to watch in these clear pots. But yeah, the leaf shape's also so awesome and so dramatic. But yeah, I really love this plant. Ashley, do you love the Ring of Fire?
I hate the Ring of Fire.
I'm offended.
Well, like, I don't hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate
No,
any
I know.
plant.
I'm
But
just
I've
joking.
definitely killed both of mine. I don't know. The first one that I got died on arrival because the person didn't package it right. And then the
Aw.
second one, it got blight and just died slowly over time. And
Oh, that's
they're
sad.
just too expensive for me to like them, in my opinion. Like, the leaves are so narrow. Like, if I wanted a plant that expensive, I would just get a caramel marble, which are so ungodly expensive. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the prices for these guys are definitely lower than the caramel marble here, so that's kind of why I prefer this one. But yeah, I love it. You don't have to love it. I just thought I'd ask.
No, I do have to love it. Sorry, you're not allowed to have that plant, Lucia.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, did you go in order of, like, your favorite plant first?
I did not. I'm kind of going just off the cuff, pulling whatever's closest to me.
I'm gonna do my favorite plant first, just because
Okay.
I feel like I need to get it out of the way. Okay, my favorite plant is the Philodendron Illimani Eye.
Wow.
Nobody's surprised. This is the original leaf that came with it, and she is so gorgeous. Oh my god. And I love her so much. And then we got another leaf, which actually broke itself on its way out, which is so sad. And it actually just finally gave me the last hurrah the other day, so kind of fell off. And then we got this leaf, which I was really worried about because there's barely any variegation on it, just on the tip. And then we got this leaf, which looks so good, and we're actually getting the variegation that I love. The reason I love this plant so much is because it looks like God just took a heckin' sneeze on it and was like, all right, that's good. And this is the kind of variegation that we're starting to see kind of show up there. And then there's actually a couple splashes, very light splashes in the middle of the leaf, but at first I actually thought that this new leaf was less variegated than the last one, which I was very nervous about that, but it looks like it's actually more variegated, so I think that we'll start to see it come in, and it really looks like the variegation loves to stick to the left lobe. That's the variegation that's right here, and it's also the variegation that's right here. And on the leaf that broke off, actually, it was mostly on the left lobe and then down the middle as well, so.
That's really interesting.
It is very, very hard to find, so I'm sorry if you want one. It was the plant that I saw that like really sealed the deal on my love for houseplants, and of course it was the most expensive and hard to find houseplant.
Of course.
But I have one now because a really nice guy traded me. I did have to trade him a leg and a limb though. I traded him my favorite cutting of my Monstera albo, a 3-leaf cutting of my sport variegated Monstera, and a pot of 5 Philodendron Pink Princess to get this bad boy, so.
All worth it.
It was all, no, like 100%. I'm not gonna lie about my emotions with this plant, Lucia. You don't understand.
I know.
This is my pride and joy.
I know, I'm not judging you at all. I don't know, I've seen pictures of those plants. I'm pretty sure the variegation is pretty stable for the most part. I've seen plants where they'll put out green leaves and then throw out a beautifully variegated leaf, but just crossing my fingers for you that it continues to stay nice and variegated. Either way though, it's absolutely beautiful.
So I've been throwing some moss on these little like root crowns, which grow around the node, and I actually just noticed that one of them has like really, like one of the aerial roots has really taken off, which is so exciting, so.
Yeah, prop and chop.
I plan on chopping her down at probably the end of the year, like probably sometime around August or September, maybe October, and then if I decide not to, then definitely next spring. And hopefully I'll have some for all my friends, because that's really what plants are all about, is sharing with your friends.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So Lucia, you better come down to America, because you know I ain't risking sending this plant over the border.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Let's move on to the next plant. This plant is one that you guys know was basically my #1 wishlist plant for the longest time, and then I was able to find it, and it's just as beautiful as I ever thought it would be. I'm talking about my Anthurium Regal. I already know for a fact that Ashley does not see the hype in this plant.
It's true.
She thinks they look like all of the other Anthuriums.
They do. They all look identical.
This plant definitely does it for me. I love the fact that the mature specimens have really beautiful sort of bunny ear lobes. Actually, not bunny ear, more like Mickey Mouse ear lobes. And you can already see it on this younger leaf here. The lobes are starting to kind of point towards each other. And the veining actually develops even more as the plant matures. So there's gonna be even more veins within the veins here. And I think that that is a really beautiful feature of this plant. I absolutely love veining. If you guys don't already know, it's such an important thing for me in plants to have beautiful veining, or at least something extra about the plant. So yeah, this definitely does it for me. It did have 4 leaves when I got it, but as it acclimated to my environment, it definitely took some time and dropped 2 leaves, which is totally okay, but we are definitely stable now. These guys are not going anywhere for the time being. And yeah, I think it's such a cool plant, and I'm so happy that I was able to cross it off my wish list. But yeah, this is the Anthurium Regal.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's move on to Ashley's second plant. Ashley, what do you have for me?
Oh boy, this is hard because like now I feel like I have to put everything in order. I'll do this one first. So this is my Philodendron Gigas, and this is definitely one of my favorite philodendrons ever. And this specific one has a lot of special vibes because my best friend Brooklyn sent this to me as a gift. She knew that I'd been wanting one, and she decided to send me one. And this one is just so incredible. So here's what she looks like. This is the newest leaf. I've been keeping it in my terrarium, and I think it's just, I mean, obvious how much bigger this leaf is than like the last leaf that came out before it. Like it's absolutely massive. Like it's even rounder than it is long, which is kind of crazy. It's almost like a circle. And the reason I love this plant so much is because it has a round sinus. So most of the time with philodendron, you like, you know, heart-shaped leaves, like that's what it is. But with the gigas, you actually have like a very round sinus, and they can become heart-shaped leaves if you let them get like developed enough. But
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, if they get huge, then they look like Melanochrysum. And when they're babies, they're like basically impossible to distinguish like from a baby Melanochrysum. But yeah, I don't know. I just absolutely adore this plant. It's, in my opinion, the better Melanochrysum, and they're usually a little less expensive for a larger plant. Like in America right now, I think for a large plant like this, you could get it for like $125, $150 for like 5 or 6 leaves.
That's awesome.
Versus like a Melanochrysum, you cannot get it for that price, and that's just because gigas are just not as popular.
Yeah.
I think because they are just like, there just hasn't been the same hype around them, even though, in my opinion, there should be. Well, it's good that there's not, because I can afford them. But they're just incredible, and I mean, the leaf shape in itself is just crazy. This leaf actually isn't even done hardening yet, and it's already putting out another baby. So when you give these guys like something to kind of feel like they're growing up, they grow really fast. Like I'm air layering this one as well, and you can already see the 2 aerial roots right there that are already reaching out and grabbing onto the moss, which is why I think this leaf came out so well.
I love sticking moss poles into my plants because I find once they do attach, they grow the most beautiful leaves for sure. All right, well, I love the gigas, but the next plant on my list here
Is the Melanochrysum.
is the Melanochrysum. I love it. Yeah, so I mean, Ashley's gigas is so beautiful, but my Milano is more beautiful. No, I'm totally joking. I do love this plant though. It is probably one of my favorite plants, and I want to tell you guys right now that small Melanochrysums are not it for me. Like, I'm not a fan of the juvenile Melanochrysums because I find that they grow so gangly and so horribly.
Ugh, I hate that word. That makes me want to puke.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the mature versions of these plants are so beautiful, and you really get the dramatic Milano effect. I remember when I first started collecting plants, for some reason, I would get the verrucosum and the Melanochrysum confused. So the way that I would differentiate them was I would call the Milano the melodramatic, or oh my god, I at least associated it with that word. So that's kind of why I love these leaves. They're very long and dramatic. But yeah,
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Word association, man. Yeah, I really do love this plant. I feel really lucky to have one at this size, and I was able to get it for such an amazing price. And here, these guys at this size are going for about $400, and I got mine for about $250. So anyways, I love this plant so much, and it's definitely going to stay a part of my collection for a really, really long time, if not forever. But I do plan on eventually cutting this guy up. My mom absolutely loves this plant also, so eventually I do want to be able to give her a piece of it. But yeah, this is my baby, and I hope you guys like it. It's my baby.
So you better like it. I swear to God. You're like, shit, can I leave that in? Okay, the next plant in my collection that I want to show you
Oh yes.
is my Atabapoense, and this one's like so beaten and battered, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But this is my Atabapoense, or should I say my Atababy. And I love this plant more than anything in the world. I mean, so probably like my Illimani is my favorite, and then this plant is my second favorite house plant. And I don't know why. Originally when I got it, I bought it, not this one, but like a different one, because I thought that it was a billy tie, and I really wanted one.
Love the Billy.
It's so incredible, and they look like sancti leaves. Like, they look like miniature sancti leaves, which is why I love them so much. Except the back of the leaves are bright red, which is just iconic.
Yeah.
And this plant went from being so cheap. Like, I bought a 9-leaf plant in I think an 8-inch pot or a 1-gallon pot. Like, it was huge, for $60 2 years ago.
Wow.
Because no one knew what it was. And then I just had to go blab my mouth and say, oh my god, I love the Adama Pointy. And now they're so expensive. And I know, obviously, they would have been expensive even without me, but I definitely got a lot of my friends into this plant. So, you know, things just happen. But that's fine, you know. I'm just glad everyone gets to enjoy it. I wish that people could enjoy it for the same price that I used to enjoy them for, because now these go for about $250 to $300, which is just so expensive, because I've never paid a price like that for these. I've got like 5 of them, and I got them all for, I think, under $100. So, but yeah, I love it.
I'm a little bit more of a fan of the Billy Adaba cross. If anything, the Billy tie is definitely my preference when it comes to the more strappy philodendron leaves, but I do think it's really beautiful as well. I just like the more ripply and defined kind of center line on the Billy tie over the Adaba Poense, but I totally understand where you're coming from, and I do love the Adaba Poense as well.
I just love it because it's got like Cebu blue, like green on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not like a bright
yeah.
green. It's like almost a like
silvery
an opaque,
color.
So yeah, like an opaque silvery blue green. And the red backs, and they're so easy to propagate. Like, they're the easiest philodendron I've ever propagated, which is so easy.
I am going to talk about the plant that's sitting right beside me here. This is actually a brand new plant for me. If you guys didn't already see my last video, I hauled this plant. I got it in a trade. This here, oh my god, it's so big. It's so huge.
It's so huge. I'm not even looking at it right now, and that thing is massive.
This plant here is my mature Anthurium Veitchii. If you guys didn't see, I had this plant on my wish list for so many videos. It went from me wanting just any Veitchii to me wanting a mature Veitchii, and I'm so glad that I waited and got the plant that I really, really wanted, because in my opinion, I don't see the immature version as being very pretty. I do definitely prefer the more narrow appearance of the mature leaves, and the immature Veitchii have very chubby leaves, in my opinion. They're not as regal as their younger version, but I really do love like the abs on this plant. I think they are so incredible.
The abs! I love the abs on this plant.
I also love that the lobes overlap. I actually didn't know that this plant kind of did that, but it is super duper cute. It almost looks like it has no sinus, but it does. It's just overlapping, which is so cute. So yeah, that is probably one of my new favorite plants, or one of my new #1 favorite plants, if I'm being honest. But if you guys know me, that changes all the time, and I never really have a #1 favorite plant. It's always just a group of plants. So yeah, if you guys haven't already noticed, this video is very on brand for me. Lots of philodendrons and anthuriums, nothing new. Ashley definitely has a more broad favorites list, so let's go and move on to her next plant.
Maybe. This is my Monstera deliciosa albo variegata Borzigiana. So this is, wait, I said that wrong. I guess I didn't say it wrong because there's 2 different types in this one pot. So this is a Monstera deliciosa albo, period. Variegata. Wow, I can't even. And then the rest of these leaves are a Monstera Borzigiana albo variegata. They are 2 different species. We do have 5 leaves now on this other plant, which is just incredible because this boy got chopped. This was the original one that I bought back in the day, minus this one, last January for $400. And at that time, that was like a really insane price because this came with 8 leaves for $400. So it was less than $100 per leaf, which is just unimaginable nowadays. And that was like the last hurrah before the prices like really went through the roof. So I'm just so glad I decided to bite the bullet and just to do it. But this one right here I got from Botanicas, but this whole plant over here is doing so incredibly well. Let me just slowly rotate her for you. So yeah, this is my Monstera albo. I've got a couple others around the room, but this is the OG.
Yeah.
This is the one, you know?
The next plant on my list is one that I got in a trade with one of my good planty friends, Autumn. She runs Plant Haven Toronto. Love her. And we did a trade a while back and I got this beautiful El Choco Red in the process. I love this plant so much, and I actually want to go into a little bit of detail about why I love this plant. I actually don't love it because it's a hype plant and everyone wants it. I love this plant because it grows so easily. This plant has given me absolutely no trouble. The only trouble that it has given me is when I have gone and physically tried to open its leaf for it and snapped it off. But that was all my fault. Yeah, but this plant...
You did that?
I did that. Yeah, but I really think this plant is so easy. So if you do want to get into rare plants and you're looking for an easy plant to start with, the El Choco is definitely a great one to go for. But this is one of my fastest growing plants, at least my fastest growing aeroid. All of these leaves are brand new and they were not a part of the plant when I got it. That old leaf has recently passed away just from basically having too many leaves and not being able to support them all. But
that sucks.
That just goes to show you how quickly this one really does grow. It grows too quickly for its own good sometimes. But yeah, it would have had 5 leaves at this point, but I ruined it, and now we already have a brand new growth point in there. And yeah, that came out so quickly. I think I broke the leaf about a week ago, and that is where we're at on the new leaf.
About a week ago.
I know, every time I say about a week ago, I think of the song. But yeah, definitely check out the El Choco Reds if you're looking to get into rare plants, because that is a special one in my opinion, at least. That was a short and sweet one. Ashley, what do you have next?
Okay, so the next plant I have is my little Florida Beauty.
Oh yeah.
And this plant I was gifted by Botanicas, Anya and David. And this was one of her rehab plants, so this isn't like, I mean, you're gonna see it's got a bunch of leaf damage on it, but that's why I got to have one. Because it was a rehab guy. But this is that first leaf, and that is just so beautiful, huh? Even though there's a lot of little damage spots on it, just because it's such an old leaf, I still think it's so beautiful. And then we just got this new leaf right there, and she's really nice. It's more green on green variegation, but also the leaf is still hardening, so it's probably going to come through more white once it's done doing its little thing. It's got really nice variegation on that lobe right there though, which is so good. And then I don't know if you're gonna really be able to see, but the stem also has just gorgeous variegation. It's green on the top and white underneath, or I guess like a cream underneath. And I love it. It's actually growing in moss and soil. Most people put soil underneath and moss on top, but Anya put moss underneath and soil on top.
Interesting. I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's this guy. And he's just really nice, and this is a plant that I'm blessed with. I could never afford this plant on my own, so this is really just truly, I think, one of the best gifts plant-wise that I've ever gotten from someone, because this is a plant that I've wanted so bad. I had an opportunity last year, like these were all over the place last year at like $100 to $120. So the fact now that they're hundreds of dollars, sometimes just for one leaf, I could have bought like 2 for a total of like 2 with 2 leaves each for a total of probably like $350. Nowadays, it's like $350 is probably not even gonna get you a leaf, like a good leaf, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is my little Florida Beauty, And she just really is the most beautiful thing, probably. One of the most beautiful plants in my collection, I think, because of how the variegation came out. And I love that it's not so sectoral. I really love that it's marbled enough that we probably won't have to worry about losing any of the sectoral variegation.
She's a queen. All right, well, with that, I will show my last plant. This is definitely a plant that you guys have also seen a lot on my channel, but it deserves all of the attention. This here is my, what is this? This is a Philodendron Glorious. I love philodendron hybrids. I think that they are just so unique, and I love being able to see the parentage of both plants in one single plant. And this one you can really, really tell. It has those really beautiful medium green leaves, but it also has the elongated factor that the Milano brings. So I definitely see both of them actually very equally in this plant. Unfortunately, that leaf did have to go and rip on the way out, but I think it's still such a beautiful leaf. And it also grows in size so quickly. So I got this plant as a one leaf cutting. It was a mid cutting. So basically it pushed out a new leaf out of an auxiliary bud. That was that new leaf there. And then it started pushing out these massive leaves, which is so awesome. So it definitely does grow in size very quickly. So if you can find a small one, definitely pick up a small one because they will get big really, really quickly. But yeah, this is just one of my favorite plants because I think it looks really beautiful on a moss pole, and I've been trying to collect some more tall and climbing plants, and this was a great addition to my collection. But yeah, that's gonna be the last plant for me.
The last plant for me is actually an orchid. This is Plerophallis paragensis, and this is probably one of the most beautiful orchids I've seen in my life. This one grows out on these very, very long petioles, and it almost looks whimsical. It almost looks fake, to be honest. I got it because it reminded me of my Anthurium QTQNC, which I love so much, and it has these gorgeous cardboard type leaves, and it actually flowers from the middle of the leaf. Let's see if any of them are flowering right now. Yeah, actually it looks like this one is going to start to flower soon. You can see that the bud is starting to open.
I love that.
Right there. And the leaves are just softer than cardboard. I probably actually need to give this one a water soon. Actually a couple of them are starting to bloom, which is so exciting. But I just love this so much, and it hangs on this little cork mount. And it hangs off of my wall like this, and it looks just like, honestly, like little hummingbirds that are just flighting around in place, and I think it's incredible. This is definitely an orchid you would own, not for the flower, but rather for the foliage. And even though it really is just green foliage, I think that the growth pattern on this is just so remarkable. When I saw it, I just had to have it, and I was very lucky because Clint from Orchid Dynasty did not have to sell this to me, but he did, even though I was a beginner, and I'm glad he took a chance on me because this is my favorite orchid in the world, and I don't think I'll ever love another orchid more than this.
I think that we need to roll a little slow-mo of this thing jiggling.
Yeah, it really does jiggle.
We will get some B-roll for you guys because this plant really needs to have its moment. I love plants that jiggle. All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to be it for this video. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed watching me and Ashley talk about our favorite plants. I definitely really, really enjoyed it. Thank you again, Ashley, for joining me.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't already, definitely go check out Ashley's video. We made one over on her channel as well, where we talked about American plant prices versus Canadian plant prices. Also, go subscribe to her if you haven't already. Also, while you're here, you can subscribe to my channel down below and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you want to join as a member, you can also click that join button down below. It really, really helps me out. And you do gain access to our Discord group chat at any level. So it's definitely a good time. But with all of that being said, guys, thank you so, so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.